Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐬𝐫𝐢𝐻𝐵.
Hello friends, this is Vijay. Very good evening. In our today's discussion, I had handpicked some 5 articles. So the first article is related to One Nation, One Election. Recently, the government constituted a panel under the ex-president Ramnath Kovind. So the first article is all about it. Then we are having a second article, 7 years on, the mission to clean the Ganga remains a work in progress. So the second article is related to the National Mission for Clean Ganga and what are the activities the government had taken so far under the mission. Then thirdly, it is an article related to Armenia and Azerbaijan. So the fresh clashes, it has been reported in Armenia and Azerbaijan region. Actually, the clashes were happening for the NagornoKarabakh region. So let us have a map in today's discussion with respect to the given article. Then fourthly, we are having an article related to INS stealth frigate Mahindra Giri. It has been launched yesterday. So the fourth article is all about it. And here in this article, we will be discussing about the project 17A. Then the last article, Aditya L1, ISRO successfully launched the Aditya L1 mission by using its workhorse PSLV C-57, and it has been launched from Satish Dhawan Space Center, which is in Andhra Pradesh, right? So the last article is Aditya L1 mission. And with respect to the article given, the first 2 articles, they are highly significant for both prelims and mains prep. Then the next 3 articles, the article number 3, 4, 5, they are highly significant for prelims only. Okay. So now without any further delay, let us dive into the discussion part. This is the first article, guys. Government panel to study simultaneous polls to Lok Sabha and state assemblies. Right. So with respect to this article, we know something about One Nation, One Election campaign. Since 2014, the NDA government, they actively propagating the need for the One Nation, One Election campaign, right? So in the year 2019, the then President Ramnath Kovind, he also made an official statement related to the need for the One Nation, One Election, right? So with respect to this campaign, we know certain facts, what it has been happening in the past 10 years. But we need to know certain historical facts, what it had happened in Indian soil before 2000, right? So here with respect to this article, guys, India got independent from British in the year 1947. Then between the timeline, 1947 to 1950, the constitutional makers, they were tailoring the constitution for India, right? Then in the 1950, the constitution, it came into enforcement. And in the year 1951 to 52, we were conducting a general election throughout India, and each and every citizen, they actually exercised their constitutional duty, right? So all the state governments and the union government, they came to power in the year 1951 to 1952. So let me write it here. So this is the first election. So after the 1951 to 1952 election, the next election, it actually happened in 1956. But by 1959, right? So 1959, this is the first time the central government, they actually exercised the Article 356 to dissolve the power in one state, which is Kerala. So in the year 1959, in the state of Kerala, the communist parties were the ruling party. So at that time, the union government, they exercised the power of Article 356 and they dissolved the Kerala state government, right? So it happened in the year 1959, right? So after that, till 1967, we were actually conducting a simultaneous elections only throughout India. So whenever the election for the Lok Sabha is happening, we were actually conducting the state elections also. This all process were happening till the year 1967. Then between 1970 to 1980, India witnessed a lot of defections among the political parties, especially among the Congress party. So this is the time period. Lot of state governments, they came to power, lot of state parties, they came to power and they exercised their constitutional duty in their respective states. Okay. Then in the year 1983, again, the Election Commission of India, it recommended the need for the simultaneous elections. So before 1967, we were conducting a single election for a union government and for electing the state government. Then between 1970 to 1980, lot of defections were happened. So lot of governments, they lost their power. So we couldn't able to conduct a single election to electing the union government and the state governments. But in the year 1983, the Election Commission of India, they recommended the simultaneous election for both union government and for electing the state governments, right? But the Election Commission of India, it couldn't able to achieve the objectives. Why? Because between 1980 to 1990, the India witnessed a lot of sad issues. One is in the 1984, the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was assassinated. Then between 1984 to 1991, lot of governments in the union, they lost their power because of the coalition parties. Okay. So these all happenings, it actually pulled back the aspirations of Election Commission of India to conduct a simultaneous election, right? Then in the year 2003, the then Prime Minister Vajpayee, he recommended the simultaneous election to be conducted for both the state governments and the central government. But nothing was materialized in the year 2003 and 2004. Then in the year 2014, the NDA government, they came to power, and after came to power, they actually started the promotions related to the need for one nation, one election. So generally, we are calling it as a campaign of one nation and one election. So the renewed push has been provided by the 2014 NDA government. Now recently, 2 days back, the union government, they announced the need for conducting the special session in parliament. So this special session, it actually spread a lot of rumors among the common man. One, people have been stating that the government is going to discuss the provisions related to the Uniform Civil Code. So this was the article we had discussed yesterday. Then some people, they have been discussing about the fact that the government is going to promote, or they are going to devise a roadmap for simultaneous elections to both the central and the state government. So this is how some rumors have been going on. So in this context, government, they yesterday formulated a committee under Ramnath Govind, and he will be introspecting the roadmap for simultaneous polls to both the union government and to the state government, right? So with respect to the one nation, one election plan, we need to know certain positives and negatives what we are having. So the first positive note is, it will bring down the cumulative expenditure. So far, the Indian government, they have been spending almost 147 rupees per citizen in conducting both the state election and the central government election, okay, which means the Lok Sabha election. So by conducting a simultaneous poll to both the state and the union assembly, we can bring down the cost it have been occurring. So it is expected that the cost will be around 70 rupees per citizen. So if we are conducting the simultaneous polls to both the union government and the state government means, then the election expenditure will be brought down and it will be in the range of 70 rupees per citizen, right? The second positive note is related to the model code of conduct. We are well known throughout the year in some parts of India, they will be conducting the elections. So there will be a model code of conduct. And this model code of conduct, it have been affecting the government functions, especially the union government functions. If the union government is participating in election means, then they can't announce any populist scheme whenever the model code of conduct is in enforcement. But with the conduction of the simultaneous polls to both the state and union government, the frequency of the model code of conduct will be reduced. So if it is coming to force means, then the union government, they will be having a sufficient amount of time to announce its policies to the people. right? So the model code of conduct, it won't hamper the government announcements related to the policies and the schemes. So this is the second positive note we are having. Then third one, the voter turnout will be improved. So generally guys, if we are conducting the elections frequently means, then it will psychologically affect the voters' mindset, right? But if we are conducting an election once in a 5-year means, it will improve the mindset of the people and it will motivate them to enroll their constitutional duty in the polling booth. So this is the third positive note they have been stating. So if we are conducting a simultaneous poll means, then obviously the people, they will enroll their constitutional duty in the polling booth, right? So this is the third positive note. Then fourthly, it will save the human resources and reduce the pressure on bureaucratic wings. So whenever the election is announced by the Election Commission of India, the model code of conduct will come into enforcement. So in that election process, from the ground level secondary grade teacher to the officials who are in a high level bureaucratic positions, they will be involving in conducting the election process. So if we are conducting one election every 5 years means, then there won't be any burden on the bureaucratic wings. Actually, it will reduce the pressure on the bureaucratic wings. Okay, so we can utilize the potential to some other fruitful plans and schemes, right? So this is the fourth positive note we are having. So these are all the few positives we are having over the simultaneous conduction of polls to both the state government and the union governments. Now let us have a look on the negative aspects related to the prescribed simultaneous polls to state and the union assembly. So the first and foremost is logistic challenges and the operational challenges. Okay. So if we are conducting an election to both the state government and union government at the same time means, in each polling booth, we are supposed to keep 2 polling machines and 2 VVPATs. So right now, the Election Commission of India, they have been facing huge crunch over the resources what they are having. So if we are conducting a simultaneous poll means, the capacity to conduct the election by Election Commission of India is highly questionable. Okay. So this is the first and foremost negative aspect we are having. Then secondly, it would benefit one major political party. So generally guys, with respect to India, throughout the history, you can check, in the elections, certain charismatic figures, they will attract the poll or they will garner the polls. Okay. So if we are conducting a simultaneous poll means, certain charismatic figure, they will attract the poll from both the state domains also, right? So it will affect the interest of certain state level parties. So this is the major concern which is expressed by the opposition parties in the Lok Sabha. Then thirdly, the political parties and their participation will be reduced. So with respect to the state government, state elections, certain political parties, they have been actively functioning in the state level. So if we are conducting a national level election, or if we are conducting a simultaneous election to both the state and union means, then these political parties, they will lose their voice in the polling stage. Okay. So this is the concern. This is the major concern, and it may cut off the voice of minorities who are standing behind these small political parties, right? So this is the third negative aspect. Lastly, if Lok Sabha dissolve means, it would be a call for nationwide election. So for the past 19 years, we don't have any dissolution related to the Lok Sabha. But previously, because of the coalition parties, the Lok Sabha, it got dissolved multiple times. So in the future, the coalition parties, they may come to power in the central, right? So if they are achieving the power in the union means, then if there is any skirmishes among these people means, then the government will be dissolved. In that time, we will be conducting an election throughout India, right? But I would say, before enforcing the plan, the government, they need to take all the stakeholders on board. It may be a small party or large party. It may be a ruling government, or it may be the opposition parties, right? So all stakeholders are bureaucratic officials, then all the experts, all the political level experts who are working with the people, they all need to be taken on board. And the opinion from the people, common man, it should also be taken on board. And based on the analysis, the government, they should arrive at the decision related to the simultaneous polls. Because it may have repercussions in the democracy what we have been protecting since the freedom. Okay. So this is a crucial decision the government is going to take. So that's for the government, they need to keenly watch the difficulties what they can face in the future. So if we are resolving the difficulties means, then we can reap the benefits out of the simultaneous polls. So this is my opinion. Okay. So now let us wind up this article here. Let us move on to the next one. This is the second article, guys. 7 years on, a mission to clean the Ganga remains a work in progress. So we all well known, after the NDA government, they came to power in the 2016. In the year of 2016, they actually had provided a renewed push to the National Mission for Clean Ganga, right? So the NGRBA, it was abolished, and the National Ganga Council, it came into existence. Okay. So with respect to the article, they had provided what are the progress so far we had achieved. And they highlighted that we had almost achieved only 20% of the capacity development with respect to the sewage treatment. Okay. So here they had given that what is meant by NMCG. So the National Mission for Clean Ganga, it is being implemented by the National Council for Rejuvenation, Protection and Management of River Ganga, also known as the National Ganga Council. And the mission, it was established in the year 2011 under the Societies Registration Act 1860. So guys, with respect to the National Mission for Clean Ganga, it has been taking certain initiatives in the 5 Ganga basin states. The one is Uttarakhand, then the another one is Uttar Pradesh, then Bihar, Jharkhand and West Bengal. So in these 5 states, so every day we have been witnessing a release of 11,000 million liters per day of sewage water. But so far, we have developed only 20% of the capacity to treat the sewage waters. Okay. So here with respect to this article, we need to know what is meant by the Namami Gang program. So it is an integrated conservation plan approved as a flagship program by the Union government in the year 2014 to accomplish the twin objectives of effective abatement of pollution and conservation and rejuvenation of the national river Ganga. So here the key terms are effective abatement of pollution, then conservation and rejuvenation. Okay. So the entire Ganga basin landscape, it has been composed of several protected areas. So we need to preserve the ecosystem what it have been prevailing in the Ganga basin region, right? So that's what under the Namami Gang program, the government, they actively have been taking several initiatives to cut off the pollution, to pull back the rivers which got polluted because of the excess pollutant load, right? So for that, we have been taking numerous measures under the Namami Gang program. Then with respect to the mission, it is being operated under the Department of Water Resource, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation, which is under the Ministry of Jal Shakti. Okay. So the department which has been operating under the Ministry of Jal Shakti, and the program, it has been implemented by both the national apparatus and the state apparatus. In the national level, we are having the NMCG, and in the state level, we are having a state program management groups. So in all the 5 Ganga basin states, we are having a dedicated state program management groups, and they have been implementing the protocols what the government has been taking under the Namami Gang program. Then with respect to the Namami Gang program, we are having 2 phases. In the first phase, the government, they actually had taken up enormous initiatives to expand the capacity with related to the sewage treatments. In the phase 2, which is between 2021 to 2026, the states will focus on expeditious completion of the projects and the preparation of the bankable detailed project reports for projects in the Ganga tributary towns and cutting down the delays. So primarily in the phase 2, we will be enforcing the mechanisms in such a way to complete the projects as fast as possible, and we will be cutting down the delays because it will shoot up the price what we are going to pay for cleaning the Ganga. Okay, so that's what the delays have been abolished within renewed mechanism what the government has been facing in their phase 2. Then the focus is also being given to the revival of small rivers and wetlands. So in the Ganga basin, as I already told you, the Ganga is a major river, but it will be having a lot of tributaries, right? So these tributaries and all will be treated under the phase 2 of the mission. So for future, each Ganga district is to develop a scientific plan and health card for at least 10 wetlands and adopt policies for reuse of the treated water and other byproducts. So primarily guys, 80% of the project cost what the government has been incurring in the Namami Gang program is going to develop the capacity related to the sewage treatments. So the treated water, it will be used for some alternative purposes, right? So that's what it has been given here. In the future, the Ganga districts, they will be utilizing the potential of the treated water to maintain the ecosystem in 10 wetlands in each and every district. Okay. Then in the article, they had thrown a lot of facts related to the progress what the government had achieved under the Namami Gang mission. Okay. So the first one is only 20% of the sewage treatment capacity has been established. So there are few challenges are there. One is related to the fund disbursement and another one is the land acquisition. So these two challenges, it have been acting as a crumbling factor for establishing or boosting the sewage treatment capacity in the Ganga basin states. Okay. Then the government reports, it highlighted that by 2024, we will be having an expansion of 33% related to the sewage treatments. Then some reports, they have been stating that by 2026, we will be having a 60% treatment capacity related to the sewage water. So right now, the measurement, what the government had taken based on the data, it has been provided by the basin states, the Ganga basin states. So till today, we have been generating almost 11,675 million liters of water every day. So million liters of wastewater every day. So okay. So right now we are having only 20% treatment capacity with respect to the 11,675 million liters of sewage water. But by 2026, it is expected that we will be treating the 60% of the sewage water what we are generating. Okay. So we need to wait and watch how the government is going to function in the upcoming days with related to the respective plans. Then what about the progress? So as I already told you, the STPs are the heart of the Namami Gang program, and the programs, the STPs, for establishing the STPs alone, we have been incurring 80% of the project cost. So we all well known, the government has been spending millions and billions of dollars into the program. But we couldn't able to achieve anything fruitfully in the past 7 years. So this is the main highlight of the article. Lastly, it states that the center approved for 37,386 crore, but only 14,500 crore has been disbursed to the state governments. So I hope you can imagine the gap between the estimated expenditure and the expenditure what the government has released for the states. Okay. So this is how the system has been functioning. So that's what we couldn't able to achieve anything fruitfully under the Namami Gang program. Then the article has been showcasing the target what we are keeping under the National Mission for Clean Ganga. The first and foremost target is to ramp up the number of Gangetic dolphin we are having in the ecosystem. So in the year 2014, we were having 2,000 Gangetic dolphins. But at the end of the mission, it was expected that we would be having a Gangetic dolphin to a count of 4,000. Okay. But we didn't get any reliable data related to the number of Gangetic dolphins which has been present in the Gangetic ecosystem. Then the parameters. By what parameter we have been assessing the pollutant load? We are having a dissolved oxygen parameter, then the biological oxygen demand, then the fecal coliform. So fecal coliform is the key indicator of the amount of fecal load which has been present in the Gangetic water. So in the year 2015 and 2016, it has been excessively high. But right now, due to the enormous measures what the state government and the basin states had taken, it almost provided certain benefits to the government. The fecal load, it has been reduced almost 75% what it has been present in the year 2016. Okay. So this is with respect to the fecal coliform, and almost in all the basin states, the open defecation has been eliminated. And there is an expansion of the construction of the restrooms, especially the public restrooms in each and every Gangetic villages. Okay. So each and every Ganga basin villages, they are having their own public restrooms. So that's what the presence of the fecal load in the pollutant water is very low. Then the last target is National Mission for Clean Ganga is working to develop a water quality index. Okay. So on the same line of air quality index, the National Mission for Clean Ganga, they are working to develop a water quality index. It will provide some real-time information to the districts which are locating in the Ganga basin region. So these are all the contents which has been discussed in the article. So with respect to the second article, we had discussed what is meant by National Mission for Clean Ganga and what is meant by Namami Gang program. Then what is the progress we had made so far with respect to the article, right? Then what are the targets we were keeping under the National Mission for Clean Ganga, right? So this is the brief about the second article. Now let us wind up this article here. Let us move on to the next one. This is the third article, guys. 4 soldiers killed, 3 injured in fresh clashes between Armenia and Azerbaijan. So since 1990, there has been a clash between Armenia and Azerbaijan. So recently, there was a short war between Armenia and Azerbaijan. But a few days back, there was a freshly reported clashes between Armenia and Azerbaijan. And with respect to this conflict, guys, India has been actively involving with Armenia. So with respect to Armenia, we have been exporting our defense platforms like Pinaka missile system, then Swati weapon locating radar, right? Then Indra radar. So these all radars and weapon systems and all have been exported by India to Armenia, and it have been arming the Armenia in the clash with Azerbaijan. With respect to Azerbaijan, they have been receiving the support from the countries like Turkey and from Pakistan. So these countries, they have been providing logistics to the Azerbaijan. So before the conflict, we have been maintaining a cordial relationship with both Armenia and Azerbaijan. But once the Azerbaijan, they started siding with the Pakistan and the Turkey group, right? So that's what India aligned with Armenia, and it have been pursuing the interest in the Eurasian landscape through the Armenia, right? So this is the brief about the clash, what it has been happening between Armenia and Azerbaijan. So now we are having a map. So this is the NagornoKarabakh region, and it is a region which is a conflict area between Armenia and Azerbaijan. So with respect to Azerbaijan, Baku is the capital, and with respect to Armenia, Yerevan is the capital. Okay. So right now, the conflicts have been going on in these portions. Okay. So in these regions, there has been a conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan. So here, Nakhchivan Autonomous Republic is there, right? So it is under the jurisdiction of Azerbaijan. So we all well known, before 1971, the Pakistan, they were having 2 territories, one on east and one on west, right? Like that scenario, Armenia is sandwiched between the 2 jurisdictions of Azerbaijan, right? So this is the brief about this map, guys. Now let us wind up this article here. Let us move on to the next one. This is the 4th article, guys. Indian Navy's stealth frigate Mahindra Giri launched. So this is the 7th and the last stealth frigate under the Project 17A. So since 2019, with the help of Mazagon Dock shipbuilders and the Garden Tree shipbuilders, the Navy has been constructing several stealth frigates. So the Mahindra Giri is one among them. So I hope the INS Mahindra Giri, it will expand the Navy's vision of keeping a check on the Indian Ocean maritime region. Okay. So in these times, we know how significant the Indian Ocean maritime has been becoming. So there are traditional challenges and there are non-traditional challenges. So in these days, we have been witnessing a spike in the piracy, then the drug smuggling, and we also witnessing the natural disasters often, right? And moreover, on the other hand, we have been seeing the expansion of Chinese footprint in the Indian Ocean waters. So in this context, the Indian Navy stealth frigate Mahindra Giri, it will expand the capability of Indian Navy to keep a check on these conventional challenges. Okay. And with respect to this article, we need to know what is meant by Project 17A. So Project 17A means Project 17 Alpha Frigates. Okay. So the scheme or the program, it was launched in the year 2019 to construct a series of stealth guided missiles. Generally, radar system or the infrared system, it will be used to track the vessels in the international waters. But if we are having some stealth mechanism, means then the enemy radars, they won't keep a track on our Indian vessels. Okay, so this is the basic behind the stealth mechanism. So with respect to Project 17A, we actually included certain specific stealth design in its construction. So we have been using 2 coatings. The one is the radar absorbent coating, okay, and another one is the heat emissive coatings. So there are two coatings are there. So with respect to these two coatings, the first one is radar absorbent coating, right? So the radar absorbent coating, it will attract the radar signals and it will absorb the signals. It won't reflect back the signal to the enemy's radar system. So if the enemy, if he didn't receive back the signals means, then he won't keep a track on the movement of the vessels what we are having. So this is the first one. Then second one is heat emissive coatings. So the heat emissive coatings, it will absorb the engine heat and it will radiate the heat into the atmosphere automatically. Okay, so it have been reducing the infrared footprint of the vessels what we are having. So we have been dissipating both the radar signals and the infrared signals. So that's how we have been enhancing the stealth capability of the stealth frigates what we are having. Okay, so these are the two novel technologies. It has been used in the vessels what we have been constructing under the project 17A. Okay, so with respect to the Mahindra Giri, before 2 years, INS Nilgiri and INS Udaygiri has been launched by the Indian Navy and they have been in operation in the Western Indian Ocean waters. Okay, so that's it guys. Now let us wind up this article here. Let us move on to the next one. This is the last article guys. India's first solar observatory mission to be launched today. So before 2 hours, ISRO, they had successfully launched India's first solar observatory mission with the help of PSLV C-57. Okay, so this is the image of PSLV C-57 carrying a Aditya L1 and the related payloads. So with respect to the Aditya L1 mission, we need to know certain basic facts related to the mission and we need to have a look on the Lagrangian points. And Aditya L1, it will study the sun's corona, sun's photosphere and chromosphere, then solar emissions, solar winds and flares, then the coronal mass ejections. And we are going to discover the facts related to the astrophysics of the solar system. Okay, so this is what we are going to carry out with the help of Aditya L1 and within the next 125 days, the Aditya L1, the payload and all will be positioned in the L1 Lagrangian point. So here is the L1 Lagrangian point, here is the Earth and here is the Moon. Okay, so with respect to the L1 mission, we need to know why we have chosen the Lagrangian 1 point. Okay, so with respect to the Lagrangian point guys, there will be an interaction of the gravity from some other planets with the gravity from the sun. So mainly these are the few points in which the interaction of the gravity of the sun and the gravity of the other planets will be there and it will provide suitable atmosphere to station the payload in that region. So if we are keeping a payload in Lagrangian point means, then with the minimum fuel consumption, we can do a maximum research. So this is the main idea behind keeping the Aditya L1 mission in the Lagrangian point. Then moreover guys, with respect to the Lagrangian 1 point, already the NASA, they had placed the SOHO observatory. So the acronym SOHO means Solar and Heliospheric Observatory. Okay. So primarily it has been designed by the European Space Agency and the NASA and it was launched by NASA. Okay. So after the SOHO observatory, we are going to place Aditya L1 in the Lagrangian point 1. So in the image you can see the Lagrangian point 1, it will provide round the clock imaging of sun to the ISRO. Okay. So with the help of Aditya L1, the ISRO will be carrying out the round the clock imaging of the sun. And the Aditya L1, the main payload is VELC. So primarily, it will introspect the parameters what it is having in the chromosphere. Okay, so this is the prime objective of the Aditya L1 mission. Anyway, the Aditya L1 mission, it is going to introspect almost all the photosphere and chromosphere of the sun. But primarily, it will do a research on the coronal mass ejections and the chromosphere. Right? So with respect to this article, we have seen what is meant by Aditya L1 and what is the satellite launch vehicle we had used for launching the Aditya L1. Then why we are placing the Aditya L1 in Lagrangian point 1 and what will be the benefit to ISRO by placing the Aditya L1 in the Lagrangian point 1. Right? So these are the few basics we had discussed with respect to the article. So finally, we are arriving at the end of the discussion. Let us have a brief recap on what we have seen in our today's discussion. Okay. So the first article is related to One Nation, One Election. Okay. So this is the first article we had discussed. Here we had discussed about the historical facts related to the One Nation, One Election campaign and with respect to one nation, one election, the proposed plan, we have seen the positives and negatives. Then in the second article, we had discussed about the Namami gang, right? So with respect to the Namami gang, we had discussed the National Mission for Clean Ganga and the Namami gang program. Then what are the progress we had made so far under the Namami gang program, right? Then the third article is related to Armenia and Azerbaijan conflict in the NagornoKarabakh region. Okay, so this is the third article we had discussed. Then fourthly, we have seen an article related to Project 17A. So in the Project 17A, we had discussed what are the coatings they are providing to the stealth frigates. So the one is the radar absorbent coating and another one is the heat emissive coatings, right? So with the help of these coatings, the emission of the radar signals and the emission of the infrared signals and all has been reduced in the stealth frigates. Okay. Then lastly, it is an article related to the Aditya L1 mission. In the Aditya L1 mission, we had discussed some basic facts related to the Aditya L1 and why we have been placing the Aditya L1 in the Lagrangian point 1, and before Aditya L1, how the NASA has been placed the 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐫𝐢𝐻 Observatory in the L1 point. So these are the few basic facts we had discussed related to the Aditya L1 mission. So this is the mains question for you. Examine the one nation, one election policy. Express your opinions to government to adopt in formulating the plan. Okay. So I hope with the discussion what we had in the first article, I hope you would be framing the answer for this question. If you are having any doubts related to the question means, you can post it in the comment box. Then this is the prelims question for you. Consider the statements related to Aditya L1. So it was launched by PSLV C57. This is right. Then it will be positioned in L3 point for better visibility. So in the image, here we are positioning in the L1 point, right? So L3 is here. So we are actually going to place the Aditya L1 mission in the L1 point. So the answer option, second one is the wrong. And it will introspect the Venus and Mercury as a part of the whole mission. So this is also false. With respect to Aditya L1, it is primarily going to introspect the parameters related to the Sun alone. So it won't be measuring any parameters related to Venus or Mercury. Okay. So only one statement is correct. Answer option A is the right one for the question number 1. This is the second question for you. Nagorno-Karabakh appeared in news is located in which of the following country? Okay. So the first one is Azerbaijan is wrong. The second one is Armenia. This is true. Ukraine and Estonia is also wrong. Okay. So this is the region. It belongs to Armenia, but it is under conflict between the Azerbaijan and Armenia. So this is the region which is responsible for the conflict between Azerbaijan and Armenia, but it belongs to Armenia only. Okay. Since 1990, the conflict has been going on, and India has been providing arms to the Armenia. So we had provided the Pinaka missile systems, then the Swati weapon locating radar and the Indra radar to the Armenian military. And they have been utilizing the potential of the Pinaka system in the war against the Azerbaijan recently. So with respect to today's discussion, we have discussed 5 articles and 1 mains question and 2 prelims question, right? So finally, we are arriving at the end of the discussion. I hope you would be liking this discussion. So let me catch you in another discussion in the upcoming days. Thank you for your patience. Press the like button, subscribe to ForumIAS in all social media platforms. Bye.